Welcome to a special RadioRadioX music video interview. I am your host, Justin Smulison, proud contributor here at RadioRadioX. My guest today is the guitarist and creative driving force of the band Hiroe. His name is Eric Kusanagi, and he's right over there. Their brand new album is called Wield. It is available worldwide from our friends at Pelagic Records. This is instrumental post-metal, and I love it because I can zone in, I can zone out, I can listen to the album as a whole and still have all these different takeaways and hear it differently every single time. You are hearing a clip of one of the lead singles, Collider, and we're going to talk all about that song and some more. Also, the band will be at the Post Fest in Indianapolis doing the pre-show on July 23rd. And Hiroe also just came off of a run of live shows, so we're going to talk about what the stage presence and the vibe is like at a Hiroe performance. We're going to play some more clips and have a lot of fun. Let's get to it. RadioRadioX audiences worldwide, please welcome Eric Kusanagi of Hiroe. Okay, I'm joined by Eric Kusanagi of Hiroe, and they've got a fantastic new album out. It's right behind me. It's over there. It's called Wield. How are you, Eric?
Good, Justin. How are you?
Very good. You're a Pennsylvanian, right?
Yeah, we're in Pennsylvania. We're right outside of Philadelphia.
Let's talk about Wield and Hiroe. You were on tour in June, and you did some major cities. You did Baltimore, Washington, Brooklyn, Boston, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. How was that run of shows?
Oh, that was amazing. It's
Yeah.
a great time. The crowds were great. The bands were great. The venues were awesome. Travel wasn't anything too bad because we're like really close to all those cities. So
Yeah.
it was really great experience.
Now, is this the first time that this incarnation of Hiroe has hit the road?
No, we hit the road last year when we did go out to Indianapolis to go play that festival. So
Mhm.
last year we played the festival, and this year we're being brought out for the pre-show to the festival, I guess.
Yeah. It's called, and to cue everybody in, it's called the Post Festival, and you're doing the pre-show for the Post Festival, the pre-post. And what's the vibe like over there? I've never really heard of it until I saw you were going to play it.
Indianapolis is great.
Yeah.
So they do a really good job with the fest there. It's like I've been to a lot of festivals, and this is by far probably my favorite fest in the United States. The crowds are great, the bands are great. It's like kind of like it's a small community of this genre, this
Mhm.
genre, and it honestly feels like just kind of going home.
Yeah.
Like you're meeting a bunch of friends. Like there are a bunch of people that you've never met before. They're super stoked to meet you, and then there are people that you do know, your peers, and you go hang out with them and stuff like that. So it's rad. It's a cool little community.
And are these all instrumental groups as well, or are they some with vocals?
No, I mean they're adjacent as well, right? Genre adjacent bands, like some shoegaze bands, some indie bands for sure. So not purely instrumental. That's kind of the big challenge with the instrumental thing, right? Like people kind of like they like kind of the vocals that kind of gives it that identity.
Yeah.
Without the vocals, that can be challenging for sure.
Well, that brings up an interesting point. It's something I always want to ask instrumental bands. Is it freer creatively to be in an instrumental group, or are there some limitations that you deal with? And what are those limitations?
I mean, the limitations are obviously the vocals, right?
Sure.
I couldn't tell you how many times, like after a show, someone will come up to me and say, like, "Oh, you'd be really great if you had vocals."
Like,
And it's like, well, no, and I can appreciate that.
it's like a backhanded compliment.
Right.
I would have enjoyed it more if they were like,
Right.
"Oh God, all right."
But like, it's just kind of like what people are kind of used to, I guess. But creatively, no, I feel like it gives us like freedom to do whatever we want. I mean, because there's not like a set like template, for this kind of music. You can kind of take it
Right.
in whatever direction you want. So creatively, I think there's a freedom there. Yeah.
Excellent. And let's also mention the 60% of the band is new this time out, right?
Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
right.
So you're a quintet. You've got the returning player is Jill,
Mhm.
and I think she played bass on the prior album Rot, and now she plays guitar on Wield. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So what led to the lineup changes? Is that just like a life thing?
It's just something that was kind of necessary at the time.
Yeah.
This initially started off as just kind of like a pandemic project. Like no one kind of knew what was going to happen with it.
Okay.
And then, we obviously hoped that something would happen with him. We got picked up by Pelagic. That was
Yeah.
incredible. So, we did the whole band thing, right? Like you put out a record, you go out on runs, you go promote the thing. And then coming back, it was just kind of decided like, hey, some of these guys might not be the best fit anymore for whatever
Right.
reason. So it was a necessary change, but I think it was a good change because with the new players, we're able to move a lot more quickly. We're a lot more nimble, a lot easier to make a lot of decisions. Not everything is a decision by committee anymore. So,
Right. Okay. And are they all local to you in the Philadelphia area?
oh yeah, like
Yeah.
they're close by. So it makes that much more easier as well.
That's cool. And I'm glad you mentioned Pelagic because they came on my radar because I was a fan of the band Telepathy out of the UK. And I interviewed the gentleman from Telepathy earlier this year. So I've been on their list and I saw you guys came out. I said, you know what? I'm going to give us a listen. I said, oh, it's got some Telepathy vibes for sure.
Right, right.
And you familiar with them?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they're our label mates. I definitely think that Pelagic has like a certain the bands all kind of have a certain vibe for sure. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
you can always kind of tell like what you're gonna get with like a Pelagic band, So
Yeah.
right,
But that's a good thing.
right.
Yeah. No, because you can get lost in this music, in your music, in Hiroe's music. You can get lost in it very easily and you can kind of zone in and zone out, right?
Mm.
Or the listener can. You can't. You got to pay friggin' attention because you've got complex material.
Right.
Yeah. Are you getting that sort of feedback from audiences and fans or listeners who say, you know what, I can appreciate an entire album, I can appreciate a whole song, or I can listen to certain passages from certain parts of songs?
I mean, the feedback so far has been like, I've noticed that our listeners are definitely more active listeners and like passive listeners.
Mhm.
Like I'm certainly guilty of like putting a record on and just kind of like letting it play in the background and just kind of picking up stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But the feedback we've been getting is just like, people will kind of like listen to something like front to back and they'll tell me in detail like, oh, I really enjoyed what you did here, or like, hey, like this totally made sense here. Like, it's stuff I might not even pick up on. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
really cool. So
It's all about the perception, right?
right.
Yeah. No, that's super cool, man. And I'm just going to tell you a couple of things that I picked up on. When I heard Calm, the opener, it kind of reminded me of what you would hear in a boxing documentary when they show you some B-roll of the boxer, hitting the bags and stuff like that. And that's that is kind of like the album getting its start building basically.
Right.
And then you got I'm going to jump a little bit. That's one of those I could see why that's such a popular song for you right now because it is one of the more hard rock crushers, but it's 10 minutes long too. So it's not like and it also again has no lyrics. So
Right.
it's not like it's arena rock or anything like that, but I could hear it in an arena,
Right.
as somebody's coming out for a fight. I don't know why my mind's going to fighting. This isn't aggressive music by any stretch, but still, I can just see it. It's a
Yeah.
crusher.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see something like this. I'm a big football guy. So
Okay,
like
sure.
come Sunday, you'll hear music kind of very similar to this. There's like this opening montage, right? And like, the teams come out and like they bet out and stuff like that. So yeah, I get what you're saying, what you're coming from. So
Yeah. And you're obviously a San Diego Padres fan.
I'm from San Diego originally. So
There you go.
I migrated out to Philly like back in 2009, just because housing was more affordable. I actually
Right.
just got back from San Diego, and the housing there is still insane, but whatever.
All right. Love San Diego. Gaslamp Quarter. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool place. I was there a couple times. Um, been to Philadelphia a couple times. I've probably been to San Diego more, and I live in New York.
I get why.
Yeah. And you got toward the end. There's a song called "I've Been Waiting for You All My Life,"
Right.
and the drums. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the drums sound like somebody knocking on a door, like they've been waiting for you forever. It's like, right? It's in threes. And was that intentional? Was that one of those things, or was it just drummer did his thing?
Drummer did his thing,
Yeah.
Music kind of gave him like a sketch of like, hey, here's kind of like what I'm thinking, and he lays down what he thinks makes sense to him. So,
and what's it like for you as the principal songwriter? What kind of direction do you give your bandmates?
Just basically, let's all try to march in the same direction.
Okay.
You know, if I'm playing something kind of like Nirvana-esque, let's not play something Weezer-esque to that. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
play something like No Doubt to that. You know, just generally follow that same kind of vibe. You know, and for the most part, it's pretty easy. People typically get it. You know, I've worked with other folks where they didn't get it. But each crew, everyone seems to be really easy to work with. So.
Excellent. Yeah, is it difficult because your songs evolve? They never stay in one lane for too long. Maybe a couple of minutes and then you're on to the next part. Is that? Do you ever do like a mix and match sort of a thing? Well, this would go better here in this song as opposed to that one. Yeah. Does that happen?
Yeah, definitely. Right. I mean, there's a whole period of like revision where like you kind of like work through things together.
Yeah.
And you know, if something doesn't make sense, someone will call it out, and we'll try to either iron it out, or we'll pull it out, or we'll sub something else in. You know what I mean? So there's definitely like there is a collaborative effort to it, despite me being like the songwriter, if you will.
Right. Right.
Yeah. No, just whatever kind of makes sense to the song. You know.
Yeah.
Player stuff.
It's like a writer who's staying true to his or her characters.
Right.
It's like that. Yeah. So what would be the natural progression for Hiroe as far as the music is concerned? Would it be the sort of thing where you might lace in not sung vocals, but maybe like radio clips or vocals, kind of like the way Telepathy did it on their last album?
Maybe. I mean, that's something we certainly do live. So like live, we'll incorporate samples, like movie samples.
Okay.
Where we between songs, so there's like some sort of segue. You know, like typically during a show, when a song ends, you know, people clap, whatever, and you move on to the next thing. We like to just kind of like keep things like moving along. So like right after a song ends, we'll kick off a sample, then we'll kick off the next song. So
yeah, you don't want there to be a lull.
No.
Yeah, no. I could see where others. I don't want to call that a mistake, but why? I could see where others maybe hadn't thought it through, and even I used to work. Karaoke parties. You always want some music in the background in between songs, or else it's just dead air and just waiting for drunks to come on up and start, you know, doing Journey songs. So you have to have something going on in the background or ready to go immediately after, just to keep the vibe going, right?
Right. That's exactly what we follow. Right.
So. Yeah, that's cool. So I know that this album was a couple of years in the works, and you've got some more shows that might come up in the fall. Is Hiroe already preparing for their third album?
So it's funny. So we went in the studio. So there are 6 songs on this recording.
Yeah.
There are like 7 other songs that we recorded that are not on this recording.
Oh, so it's already banked.
Yeah, it's pretty much fully baked already. It's ready to go whenever you know we want to release it. But yeah, we went in recording like material enough for 2 albums. Essentially.
Good. I love when bands do that.
Right.
I love when they release a lost album or something like that, or they say, oh no, we did one and the other, so that we already have it ready to go. You don't have to spend another year writing. It's done.
Right. You know, just wanted to be able to like, one, focus like on being like a live performing band, and 2, it's just kind of like the climate we're in. You know, it's like an attention economy anymore, right? Like where bands just kind of have to constantly release a stream of content. You know, otherwise people kind of forget them really quick. So
right.
So
all right. And then, are you a fan of Bandcamp and platforms like that?
I like Bandcamp. Bandcamp's cool. I like ownership, and I don't mean like ownership like I own something. I like ownership like the listener can own something versus you know, Spotify. So Spotify is cool because it like introduces people to like a lot of cool different things, but at the same time, there's no sense of like ownership. I come from like that old school where like I crack open the cellophane. I like looking at the liner notes, the CD, vinyl, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a lost thing anymore, you know, which is kind of a shame, you know. So.
Yeah. But you've got physical releases of your albums, right?
Yeah. We have vinyl CDs and stuff like that too.
Oh, okay, cool. Very cool. And so, yeah, give us a sense, because you've got the show coming up you get the pre-show of the Post-Fest, July 23rd in Indianapolis. Give us a sense of what a Hiroe live performance is like. Are you guys all over the place? Are you dueling? How's it go?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interaction with the band. There's a lot of like crowd interaction too. A lot of energy, for sure.
Yeah.
It's you'll see like our players are just having like the best time, and it's really weird. I've played with other people before, and they're like super intense. These people are like, if you see them, they'll have like a smile from ear to ear. It's not like a thing where it's like, oh, you need to smile on stage or something. It's just kind of like
They're just happy to be there.
it's for the
Yeah.
joy of playing.
Right.
It's a joyful experience for them. And I think it certainly translates to the crowd as well. So.
Excellent. What's the craziest narrative or the most creative narrative that a listener has told you the song makes them think of?
Oh man, we've had a lot. I mean, we've had people just tell us like, it reminds them a lot of like, when they were a kid or something, right? Or sometimes it's just like reminds them of a moment of heartbreak at times. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and it kind of sad, but kind of cool at the same time. Where it's just kind of like, oh, like our music has had like a profound effect on someone that we've never met. Like we get messages from like all over the world and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a bunch of different stories, but yeah, it's been pretty amazing. So
That's cool. That sounds like it's really affecting. I could see how
right.
that would be. Somebody tells you something very personal and intimate about
Mhm.
themselves and their lives and how your instrumental song moved them and
Right.
brought them back to a certain time and place. That's got to be wild.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, the album is fantastic. It's called Wield. It's available worldwide from our friends at Pelagic Records. And Eric, anything else you want to say to the audience, your listeners and fans, and anybody who may not be familiar with Hiroe, who's first hearing about them now?
I guess to the people who are fans and who are listeners, thank you so much for supporting us in our journey. Thank you for being along since the first record, or maybe jumping on to the second record. And for the new fans, I hope you all get something out of it. A lot of time and care was taken into crafting these records, and we want to be a soundtrack for you guys, right? Like it's your story. The music is instrumental. It's whatever you kind of make of it. We hope you take something from it. But yeah, like, we hope you get something out of it, right?
Yeah. Special thanks again to Eric Kusanagi of Hiroe. The brand new album Wield is available worldwide from our friends at Pelagic Records. During the interview, you heard clips of Collider, I've Been Waiting For You All My Life, and now we're closing it out with Dancing at the End of the World. Visit HiroeMusic.com. Check them out on Bandcamp, Spotify, and on their socials. And be sure to catch them at the pre-show for the Post Fest, July 23rd in Indianapolis. Links are on this interview show notes. Also be sure to check out Hiroe's first album, Wrought, also available on Pelagic Records. And as always, be sure to make legitimate purchases of the music, merch, and tickets to support hardworking artists like those in Hiroe. Be sure to head on over to RadioRadioX.com for all things music. We've got reviews, we've got interviews, we've got all sorts of great content. I've got an interview with local drumming favorite Jason Bittner of Shadows Fall and Category 7. And another iconic metal drummer, Mark Zonder, formerly of Fate's Warning and now with Warlord and A through Z. And another with powerhouse drummer Sean Duncan of L.A. Guns. I've also got interviews with John Bush, the singer of Category 7 and Armored Saint, and Flotsam and Jetsam guitarist Michael Gilbert, and internationally acclaimed rock singer Ronnie Romero, and more. I'd like to thank Art and Rob and everyone over there at the Radio Radio X headquarters. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and all social channels. And be sure to keep coming back to RadioRadioX.com for more updates. I've got more video interviews on the way as well. I am Justin Smulison, new contributor here at Radio Radio X. Thank you so much for tuning in. There's more on the way.